joined now by Syracuse head coach Gary Gait ahead of the top 15 game against Johns Hopkins on Sunday at the Dome. Taking questions.
Gary, you've talked about it in some videos during the week, but I just wanted to get your perspective about, when Hopkins comes up and how that's not another game, it's a rivalry game, and just the emotions and everything behind it. Or do you just try to keep it another game as best you can?
Well, I've been trying to keep the players focused on, winning the day and going day to day and not talking about the future. I think we got caught up early on when media and everybody was talking about, number 2 team in the country, Final Four, we back, all this stuff. And the season was just starting. So we're really focused on, winning the practice on a day-to-day basis and one game at a time. So, at the end of practice today, we just talked about, it's a great opportunity. Stay focused, dial in, do your work, and let's take care of business and have some fun. So,
What was most impressive to you in how the defense responded last week?
Well, I think, all year they've had flashes of, being really good. We've really only had one bad game, I would say, and that was, the Harvard game, and that happens. Other than that, I think the defense has played very well. The most goals they've given up is 11 against the number 1 team in the country, so not too bad. So I'm hoping we get a performance like that come Sunday, where it's one of the best defenses in the country, and they show up and they against one of the best teams in the country.
Johns Hopkins, the last 3 of their games have been decided by 1 goal. Obviously, very competitive game. How do you make sure your team is executing down the stretch in this one?
Again, it's been the message from the coaching staff that you focus on what we need to do, your job, and you work really hard in practice and you execute the game plan, and that's what you focus on. And we got a lot of great opponents ahead of us, and Johns Hopkins is certainly one of them. I think we have 6 of the top 8 left. Something like that. So we got no shortage of, is this a big game? They're all big games. So, but they're all great opportunities. And I think, all the people that want to say you're this, you're that, we got a season ahead of us that'll prove where we are and what we are and who we are. And that'll all come down to how we play throughout the rest of the season.
Does it concern you sometimes in terms of the offense slowing down a little bit in the second half? And what have you tried to do to change that?
We've been a little slow in the third quarter. Last year we had a tendency to be slow in the first quarter, and we seem to have been able to change that this year. And as a staff, we're working on how do we get the same intensity and focus we get in quarter number 1 and quarter number 3. So, we're working on it as a staff. Whether it's tweaking the halftime and what we do at halftime, and then hopefully we'll get some better third quarter performances.
It's kind of a unique matchup in this game. Sam gets to go up against his brother, but his brother leads Hopkins in assists.
Yeah, little
something
brother.
You guys are probably keen on, right?
Yeah. It's fun. We've been talking to Sam, and he'll get to play against 2 of his brothers this year, so that's kind of fun. And he's the oldest brother, and we're cheering for him. That I can tell you.
Coach, obviously Joey had 3 assists against Utah. It felt like obviously they're face guarding him a lot of the way. Do you think sometimes, in terms of people's perception of him, do you think sometimes people mischaracterize him as a guy, and they expect him to score 5 goals a game, but that's not truly him? What are your thoughts on that?
Joey's I think done a really nice job of buying into playing a role in whatever the team needs to have success. So, and that's all we want him to do. We don't need him to be put all this added pressure on himself trying to do all these amazing things, when we just need him to play well, do his job, score some goals, make some plays, assist the ball, and he'll be fine. And how the team goes is typically how, everything else goes, So I've just been, talking to him and all the guys saying, hey, don't worry about anything but how the team does. Everything else will take care of itself.
How well has he executed on some of, like, I guess, the adjustments that you've been trying
Well,
to
I'm sure he'd like to have some shots back. He had some good shots against Utah, and he didn't finish them, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. So, and that goes for every player. Not every player is, scoring 5 goals a game or 5 points a game. Defenses take away certain things and allow other people opportunities, and I think that's what happens a lot. And Joey always does his job by drawing usually the top defender and making opportunities for other guys. So he's a great teammate right now.
Shifting to another player, Carter, what does he do with his athleticism? What does that offer on both ends of the ball? Carter Rice.
Oh, Carter. Okay,
Sorry.
we got a couple Carters. So
Carter
yeah.
Rice, my bad. I apologize.
Carter Rice is, he's really bought into the defensive concepts, and he helps clear the ball, and that's his job and that's his role. And we're not asking him to go down and score goals necessarily, but he does go down and create transition when he gets it, and he's doing his job very well. I think he's playing at a high level right now.
2 more questions.
Gary, is Finn Thompson good to go for this one? He was a little banged up at the end of last.
He's a little banged up. We'll see how he is, and we'll see what happens come Sunday.
Is that day-to-day status?
Yeah.
Okay. And John and Mullen, and I forget Hopkins guy off the top of my head, but they're the top 2 face-off winners in the country. When he has a matchup like that, is there specific things he studies, tendencies? Do you try to pick up on some things?
Oh, he's a student of the game. Yeah, he watches film. He does it all. He wants to be great. He wants to be good. So he does the work, and we're just happy to have him, and glad he's on our team. And when you don't have a guy like that and you're struggling at the X, you know it. So we are just thankful every day that he's here. He's healthy, and he's on our side. So we love Johnny Mullen.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.